Shalom, when itself, souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadosh, double honors the apostles of great millstone, and honors you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the raw name of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah. Yahweh, his raw name is Yahweh. The Son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning that, and Sham meaning names, Yahweh, the name of Yahweh Shai. Right? This was inspired by the live camp that the apostle had with the Indianapolis camp, right? And just listen to one of the things that was said. Just put the volume up.
Also, no.
Right.
Also, I can go into, he's gonna be so low, he's gonna be so at the bottom, where people will be like, oh yeah, this man was once in rulership. Nah, not him. Him? An Edomite? Nah, man.
He came over here now.
The most lowliest person in the kingdom. He's gonna be so low.
Yeah, and that made me think, of the Cushites, because when you look at in the history, one of the first memories that I have of what I would then find out the so-called Cushites, according to the scriptures, were of the Ethiopians, and the Ethiopians, Cush is the biblical name for these so-called Ethiopians, but one of the first things I remember growing up was the fact that the Ethiopians were known for the Great Famine. And one of the things I remember being taught about was something called kwashiorkor. So let me just show you that real quick and we'll get into it. So kwashiorkor is when you get this protruding belly coming out caused by a lack of protein. This is from PubMed, National Library of Medicine, Famine in Ethiopia, 1983 to 85, kwashiorkor and marasmus in four origins. And this kind of just, goes into in some of the, different articles related to it. And then here in from the Healthline is what exactly is kwashiorkor, which I would read in a second. However, these guys were the head of gold. When you look at the statue of Daniel, this is the head of gold. These people that went through this, this is an image of it. You can find more images online where it's showing you real children and stuff like that. However, they were the head of gold at some point. Esau understands history, yet he somehow thinks that he's not gonna befall this. He somehow thinks that he's gonna have a different outcome in comparison to these different nations that were at some point at the top and then now are not at the top. And as you have just heard, Esau's not even going to be not at the top. He's going to be at the very, very bottom to the day that the Lord judges that he should be destroyed and destroyed forever. So real quick, what is kwashiorkor, right? Kwashiorkor, also known as edematous malnutrition, because of its association with edema, fluid retention, is a natural disorder most often seen in regions experiencing famine. It is a form of malnutrition caused by a lack of protein in the diet. People who have kwashiorkor typically have an extremely emaciated appearance in all body parts except their ankles, feet, and belly, which swell with fluid. Kwashiorkor is rarely found in the US and other countries with a generally steady food supply for the time being, as we have covered in several videos. The storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. It's most common in sub-Saharan Africa and other countries where people routinely have a limited food supply. And then it goes on to some of the things that can happen, and a whole load of other information. But once again, the thing that I'm wanting to highlight here is the people that growing up I knew very much for this, for famine, for Live Aid, were the head of gold. Now there's a saying about insanity, about although it's kind of something different, but nonetheless, Esau's all the way. His current kingdom is all the way down here. Yet they somehow think that they're gonna break through the pattern that the Most High has set. Once again, the Cushites, the Babylonian, that was the head of gold, right? that was the head of gold, yet they got brought low. So this is Daniel 2 from 31. It says, Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image, this great image, whose brightness was excellent, and stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image's head was of fine gold, and his breast and his arms. The image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass. Head of fine gold, Nebuchadnezzar, Babylonian Empire, circa, which means around 605 to 593 BC. Breast and his arms of silver, Medo-Persian Empire. Belly and his thighs of brass, the Greek Empire. His legs of iron, and his feet part of iron and part of clay. Legs of iron was the Roman Empire. Feet part of iron and part clay, which is this current kingdom, which is partially strong and partially weak. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Which is, that stone represents Yahushua, pursuant to Isaiah 28 and 6. And then I'm just gonna jump to the point, but basically, the head of gold was that Babylonian Empire, yet they got brought low, because Daniel 2:21, jump up a few verses, and he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. So the Most High is the one that removes kings and set kings up, and has power over the earth as to who's ruling at any particular time. At that time, Nebuchadnezzar, his kingdom was a great kingdom, but look at them. You think, some Ethiopian, is taken seriously in this world? No, he's just another citizen. Yeah, they were a great civilization at some point, but now they're just nothing. Yeah, they've got a few things in their country and stuff like that, but in the grand scheme of things, they haven't got any power. And this is what is awaiting Esau. Esau's going to end up in this same predicament, but even worse. Esau's going to be the lowest of the low, because not only is Israel going to be kicking his ass, but all of these different heathen nations are going to be joining us in kicking Esau's ass too. This is Psalm 75 and 7. But the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. Once again, going into the fact that the Lord is the one that is in control of this entire movie, in control of this entire script. So when you see new kingdoms come into power, it's the Most High that did that. When you see kingdoms go out of power, it's the Most High that's doing that. Just like how we're seeing the American Empire fall before our eyes, it is the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Even the fact, as I believe it's in that same video, when they were discussing about, when you look at this Edomite, he's a weak, Weasley Edomite, yet he's been given power over the earth, which is a fulfillment of prophecy, right? You got individuals like William Gates, who you look at him, he's just any other Edomite, yet the Lord has allowed him to be a man of influence in this world. This is Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and sitteth up over it, the basest of men. These Edomites are the basest of men. We can see it. Those whose eyes are spiritually open can see that this Edomite is the weakest. He's the basest of men. When you read Habakkuk, it says that his spirit is not upright, so he's not normal. Yet the Lord has given him power over the earth. You read Job, the 30th chapter, speaks about how Job said he wouldn't even let these Edomites sleep around the dogs of his flock, because this Edomite would do what? He would poke those dogs. Now, if you look at the kingdom that we're living in now, you can see why Job didn't want them around. In fact, in that same chapter, it says that these Edomites were driven forth from among men, yet the Lord has given them power. but with this power they have become proud. This is Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And this verse here exposes who the Edomites are. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Now, when you understand pride, scripture says pride is when a man moves away from his maker. And this Edomite has gone way away. This Edomite has taken the scripture, which what it says in Psalms 50 and 16. What is thou to do to declare my statutes, seeing thou throwest my words behind thee? So this Edomite had the nerve to try and claim the scriptures, yet he does everything opposite to the scriptures. And then he boasts himself against the Most High. Which is why when you see certain of his technology, people will say, what? It's a miracle, which is spoken of in Revelation, the 16th chapter. It goes on to say as well, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. And what do these so-called Edom or so-called white people, these Edomites, refer to themselves as? The Caucasians, which comes from the fact that they used to dwell in the Caucasus Mountains. So this is snitching, if you will, on who the Edomites are, and they're still here today, contrary to what certain individuals try and say. It says, whose habitation is high. Once again, who loves these skyscrapers? Whenever you see countries and nations outside the world with those big skyscrapers, who are they really trying to emulate? They're trying to emulate the power of Esau, because especially when you read the scriptures say you can build high. I was seeing a video of, what was this place, Hong Kong. It was a screensaver video, and those buildings were high as hell. You don't really notice it at first until you look at the cars on the road beneath, and you're just thinking, what happens if there's a fire? What happens if there's another situation like 9/11 and you're at the top? What you gonna do? Grenfell over here in the UK was an example of this. So once again, whose habitation is high? Who is that referring to? This Edomite. It says, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me to the ground? And the answer is the Most High is going to bring this devil to the ground. The Most High is going to take him from his lofty position and bring him all the way down. Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. Because this man is very, very proud. Yet the Most High has this to say also, as Ezekiel 28 and 9, will thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. And this chapter from the top is speaking about Esau and his pride, and how he has basically made himself into a god, yet he's going to be brought down from that god status. Right now, he feels untouchable. He's got weapons galore, whether it be the American Edomite or the Russian Edomite. Between them, they've basically got all of the world's nuclear weapons, more or less. I think they cover around 50+% of the world's nuclear arsenal between them. Look at all of the things that they can do with this science, and the power in general that they have over the whole world. Right, with whether it be NATO as an alliance or whether it be the Russian Edomites. Yet the Most High is going to bring them down. Jeremiah 50 and 23, how was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How was Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And America will be broken. America will be destroyed and never inhabited again. America is the hammer of the whole earth. Just look at their foreign policies, how there is a saying, everything to a hammer looks like a nail, which is why whenever America wants to go and solve something, it's always by sending troops. It's always by, let's go bomb them into democracy. Yep, it's going to be brought down. And the reason why I'm making, once again, the similarities between the Ethiopians, right? So-called Ethiopians, rather, Kush, right? Showing what they're best known for, the famine, Live Aid, and stuff like that. And in today's time, they once again were the head of gold. Yet look how far the Most High brought them down. And this devil thinks that he's gonna get any other treatment, and that's not the case. And that's not the case. But this is what people are gonna be saying when all is said and done. How's the ham of the whole earth cut asunder? Isaiah 14:16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Because when you're fat, let me read into this. Verse 13. Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Lucifer is not a reference to spiritual demon Satan, but rather Esau, known today as a so-called white man, nor is it a reference to fallen angels. It gives two precepts, Sirach 16:26-28, Psalms 103 and 20. It's for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. So once again, that pride is being displayed here about how this man thinks. He says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Oh yeah, with his planes and his spaceships and stuff like that. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. That they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? And that's it. When Esau's eventually brought down, everyone's going to rejoice. And everyone's going to look at him like, this guy? Just like once again, when you look at these Ethiopians, you're like, him? We might be at the camp. You're like, yeah, man, these men used to rule the world. You're like, them? Like, you say that to a proper proud Edomite, he's going to look at you like you got 10 heads. And not only did they used to rule the world, they had a great kingdom at that. Yeah, they got brought down, just like how Esau's going to be brought down. And there's going to come a day when Esau's not even going to be remembered anymore. I'm going to read this, is Jeremiah 20 from verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? It's just a moment. Esau's just in power for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. Once again, the same theme of pride of this devil. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. Esau will never rule again when he's brought down. Yeah, and that's it. This is the last time he's going to be in power, and ultimately it's the last time any heathen is going to be in power. And just to finish out, after Esau's been brought down from this high estate, guess what? He's not going to be anymore. This is Obadiah 1:18. This is, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau stubble, and they shall kindle in them, and shall devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. And we can't wait for that day, because it says in Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, that I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So Israel, we're the true rulers of the earth, yet we have no power right now, and we're not supposed to. We're serving our punishment, but the Lord is coming back to set everything straight, set the record straight, as the saying goes. Esau's gonna go back to the bottom where he belongs. Israel's gonna return to the top, and the earth is gonna return to righteousness. People are gonna pay for everything that they have done, these heathen nations, for putting the children of Israel into captivity. the Lord is basically going to allow us to exact vengeance upon them, pursuant to Revelation 2:25. Shall rule them with a rod of iron, right? Beat them into shivers. Okay, so once again, just showing the parallels of this, the fact that the head of gold, according to the prophecy in Daniel the 2nd chapter, they got brought low. And you tell people today, look, man, they used to rule the world. They'll look at you crazy. Yeah. This Edomite thinks he's gonna have a different result. He's gonna have a worse result. He's gonna go back to his rightful place at the very bottom. So as always, Lord, that was edifying. Till next time we say Shalom.